Are you still calling your business a business? A busyness? A busyness? Why are you calling it a busyness? What if there was another way that you could describe your business? A word that displays the meaning a little bit better, especially you being a woman. We are about to discuss a few words that would replace the word business in your vocabulary and why. Let's start with the why, because you're like, business. I'm a business girly, I'm an entrepreneur. Why would I want to change business? It's because the word business comes from the Old English word busyness, which actually means anxiety. And if you think about the prefix and suffix of the word business, right, you have busy, busyness. Busyness, busy, which means to be doing something, right? And then ness means the state or quality or condition. So basically, the word business is meaning the state or condition of being busy. Now, when you are running your busyness, why would you want it to feel like that? Why would you want it to feel like something that brings you anxiety? Perhaps this is why so many businesses fail within the first year. And when they don't fail, it's likely because the entrepreneur running it has come to terms or made peace with the fact that their business is going to just keep them busy all the time and they're okay with it. They're calling themselves high achieving, they're feeling good, they're constantly busy, having a jam packed schedule, and they are okay with that life. And then they might sell their busyness. And once they sell their busyness, they get all the money and they're no longer busy. They're kind of free. But do you see how the word busyness is affecting the way that we are putting our gift into the world, the way that we are showing people our expertise, that we are giving back, that we are helping others, that we are changing the world? Words have a profound impact on the way that we experience our lives. There is substantial amount of research on how words actually affect the brain. We know that there is power in the tongue. This is why affirmations do wonders. This is why the voice in your head, your personal story, matters so much. This is why writing down your goals, your vision onto paper matters so much, because words are powerful. And the words that we speak are incredibly powerful. They can impact our psychology, they impact the way that we display emotions, they impact our physical body as well, with how they interact with our brain. By the way, if you are a textual learner, I have a blog post, a little short blog post on this, and you can find that in the description. This thought came to me because I was reading a book summary and they were talking about busyness. And I saw the word busyness and I was like, oh, that looks a lot like business and also sounds a lot like busyness, like business. Why are we calling our business a business? Even if we today are using the word business to mean our brand that we are building, which is one of the words that you can use instead of business, or the company that we have, which is another word. Why are we using the word busyness when our brains, even though consciously we might not pick up busyness from the word business, our brains can pick up the subconscious meaning of busyness, of having to constantly check our emails, having to constantly put things on a to-do list, having to constantly have meetings. And so when I started to think about this, I thought about other words that I could use instead of the word busyness that would actually impact the way that I feel about the work that I'm doing as an entrepreneur, that would actually feel more purposeful and not have me be doing. And in the beginning, when I said especially as a woman, it is because women are not meant to always be doing. We are meant to receive, right? We are meant to receive, we are meant to attract. And so when we are always doing, we're constantly doing something that is taking away from our natural ability to receive and to attract. And so there is a huge discrepancy there when we are saying business. It might be causing some cognitive dissonance as well that we are not even aware of consciously. It's just something that has been embedded into us. And I brainstormed a few words, Googled a few synonyms for business that I feel like would work. And so you have your endeavor, you have an enterprise, a company, a brand. Let me see what else. The main one that I really like and that I have been using is happiness. My happiness. I have 2 clients for my happiness today. I like happiness because it is very close in structure in a way to busyness or business. My happiness, my business. And it does sound a little odd. It sounds weird, but that's how all language starts. Shakespeare created words that we use today, and it doesn't feel like a weird word because simply it has become common. Once things become common, they are no longer odd or weird. And so using the word happiness instead of business can quickly become the norm. And especially for me, if I continue to say it, and even though it feels maybe even a little bit corny and weird to say, oh, I'm working on my happiness today instead of my business, or I'm updating my happiness website. Let me do something to work on my happiness today. These this change in word has made working on my brands feel so much lighter, feel so much more purposeful. It feels so much better because, like I mentioned before, words have a profound impact on the brain. On the brain. And the old English word, which business derived from, that busyness, meaning anxiety, I would not want to be using a word that means or has meant anxiety in the past to describe something that I want to spend a significant amount of my energy toward, a significant amount of time. And it's not to say that a business does not require work. It's not to say that a business does not require the use of your energy and time, or it can sometimes be difficult. It is simply about changing the vibe around the word. So this is also beneficial for men. Saying business, while for men won't have as much as an impact because they're meant to be action doers, doer. And women, we do action too as well, but it's just the way that we go about running our brands and working that is actually very different. And so I found it very interesting doing some research on the etymology of the word business when I saw busyness. And another way that I was thinking I could change the word business in my vocabulary is just saying my biz, right? Because happiness does seem a little bit woo woo, ooh ooh, la la, like delusion, which I love, honestly. And I have been saying happiness more than biz because that's just me. And biz, though, it sounds a little bit silly and it brings more of a light, playful side to the word that we use, business, right? It's like, I have a biz meeting. My biz is booming. it seems a lot more light and fun. So those are a few alternatives you could use. I don't know who's with me on using happiness instead of business. It does sound good to me. The more that I say it, it sounds really nice. And it brings me a lot of peace, a lot of calm, because I desire a life of ease, and that is what I'm trying to build. And when I tell you it has already shifted the way that I do things, I feel more aligned with the work that I'm doing. I have spent less time doing less busy work than I was doing before, and doing more purposeful work that I feel is aligned to my actual goals, the things that I actually would like to achieve with my brand, with the platform that I am building, instead of that busy work that I was just doing simply because if I'm running a business, these are the things that people say that I need to do. But if I'm running a happiness, then it's completely different. It looks completely different. If I'm running a happiness, it's like, okay, what am I doing to be happy? And I love living in this delusion because we can actually achieve that. We can live like that. There are people who have a happiness and they just do their happiness, right? They do their happiness work. And that seems great to me. Does it seem great to you? Let me know in the comments if you are down with using the word happiness or biz or company, enterprise, endeavor, brand instead of the word business, or how you feel about the word business in general. Do you feel that, you know, saying that word has a heaviness to it? Did you, if you try, using a different word for your business, does that feel different for you? Please let me know. I would like to see how all of our thinking is around this subject, especially as there's so many of us women who are starting to be entrepreneurs. And there is a weight to starting a business. There is a weight to that. There's all these things about how starting a business can be hard. Starting a business can be this, but what if you're starting a happiness and not a business? Let me know and stay golden.